Right. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if I trust you to share my story with you because what I'm going to talk about is trust. So I'm still praying to God that He says to me, tell them. So you look at me, you see inspiration, most of you that I've worked with. But the truth is, okay, I'm feeling very emotional today. So bear with me because I'm going to expose myself. I've never done this before, right? And probably you've never seen this side of me, for those of you here who've seen me speak. So I'm going to expose myself a bit and be vulnerable a little bit. And I need all the energies and prayers from yourselves. Yeah, and I think you'll probably see my face shaking for some of you. And you're like, but we thought this guy is a professional speaker, like who you are. But today is a different stage because I'm going into my pockets that I've never shared with you. You know, trust is good, but to a certain level. You get to a point where you do not necessarily have to trust another person. Trust up to there. And thereafter, be careful. My story is short. I've been in formal 8 to 5 before. Sorry, I'm not going to be looking at you today. 8 to 5 hours before. And I was employed by a very big organization here in the country as a finance manager. That's after I graduated. So I was posted to Maung. I was in the executive, I was big, I'll take decisions that mattered and to actually get some people out of problem and some into trouble. And there was this person that I worked with. It was all good for the years that we were working together. A situation where we'll say, "Bona, we are in Maung, both of us, and our families are in Gaborone. So look, let's work out our schedule such that in finance, we do this, that. On around Thursday afternoon and Friday, we are free. So if you want to travel, you can travel. You see, you've done your work for the week. And you know, gentleman's agreement, you don't necessarily have to fill any document, just travel." So we started doing that. It was all okay. I'll travel, she will travel. One of the good days during lunch hour, we'll gather, and I started telling a story. You know, back in this year, I was doing standard one, and that was the beginning of disaster. Just mentioning that story, this year I was doing standard one. Trouble started. Let me tell you why. Because this lady, the same year that I was doing standard one, she was working for this organization, trying to, you know, do whatever her life plans were. And now here comes the standard one. That was the beginning of witchcraft. So I was seated there and we are having our arrangement is working fine. One day I'm told you are needed at the boardroom, but I'm the guy I'm supposed to know everything that is happening that executive does. How come today I'm wanted? I get there, I find all security personnel and even executives from Gaborone that are seated, and I don't even know how they got to Maung. So I get in there, and then I'm given a paper. It's a suspension letter. And I went through the letter, and I had 76 counts or charges that they were laying against me of all the financial charges or criminal whatever you can think of, fraud, theft, missing work. They are calculated all those days that me and this person we've been having, like each time I go on Friday and Thursday and no either the hour or submit. So I'm saying what I owe my employer so many months of work. So there I am, suspended, and I'm out. For 6 months, I was out, earning my full salary, but waiting for them to call me. Can you imagine 6 months of getting your salary and you don't even know what is going to happen next? Trust is good, but don't over trust. Let me take you to another story. So there I was, many years thereafter. I have a business and I have an employee whom I trust and I open out to. Little do I know that this same person that I'm sharing everything with, they have access to my laptop, to my emails, to my phone. When I get to the office, I give them my phone. They're responding to everyone. Little do I know that this person is not only working for me, he's working for someone else. So if you call, you have a business deal with me, some business deals, they pass. They go elsewhere. And you as my employer, potential employer, you are told that I'm not available. Trust, but do not trust too much. And this I'm talking about trust between me and another person. And I don't know whether I should call this third one trust, but I'll just share with you that you need to be careful as well. Before COVID, everything was going fine, except in my own little corner. You know, as a speaker, like I said, when you started, you're an inspiration to many people. And when it hurts, no one sees. People will be bringing their problems to you. They don't know that the same problems that they're bringing to you, you are going through them. So my marriage was going through hell, and no one knew. I remember even today, I can still go to my post. You know, Facebook has this tendency of reminding you of your past. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you are sending me an SMS or Facebook, I have an inbox. Then a message comes, bah, I'm going under stress. Can someone talk to me? That's what I used to do. I'll send on Facebook. I need motivation. Someone talk to me. And you know how you people, you respond to me? Straight will tell me, no, we need it from you. I mean, who am I to give you? And I remember these 3 of those posts that I did in different years. I was calling for help and no one was coming. And each time you knock at my door, I'm thinking you are coming as my helper. You're bringing your own problems to me. And I'll sit there, like what Patricia was saying. I'll be dealing with your problems, yet inside I'm crying, I'm torn, I'm finished. And I try to hide it from you. So, COVID came. Business is good before COVID, and my marriage is cracking, and I'm moving out of the, we call it matrimonial home, whatever, that combination. So I'm moving out, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at my bank account. Oh, it's good. I'm looking at those yellow papers that you get from government. I've got about 8, 9 of them. And you know what I'm talking about, GPOs. So I'm adding the figures. These figures are good. Those ones that are good, so I can leave. So I leave. And I find myself in Kopong. There's one of you seated here. They know my house, the one I used to. You see this? So I remember when I started, kana ke radio tsa 2020. I was sleeping on the floor. Actually, I didn't even have mattress. 2020. After many of you here have met me and you thought everything was fine. Nike sna le halelo ne le tras. 2020. Nike robala hands. Ke ala sleep hati sleeping kowe zipiwa nye. E bo tito ko tlase be ke ala. Ke be ke robala ko godimo ga yone. That's why I was sleeping. And it was after I met most of you here. It was tough. And I remember this person who seated here, I'm not going to expose her. She visited me and she bought me some plates and a cup and a pair of socks. So thank you very much wherever you are seated. So there I was, I started life, and then COVID came. Guess what happened? All those yellow papers that I had, one by one, they started calling me. That paper is not, it's irrelevant from now going forward. In other words, all the GPOs that you are having, you can tear them and throw them away. It went like, phew, I went down. Okay? Now I'm there. There's no one to talk to. I decided I need to run away because these people in Gaborone, no one seems to see what I'm going through. You will remember, I have one family member here. Don't expose yourself. I have one family member here. You know my story very well. I moved, I relocated, and I stayed in Palape. When I got to Palape, I hid from everyone else. There was a time I locked, she doesn't know this one, you, my family member. There was a time I locked myself in the house for 6 weeks. I was not going out. I grew beard. I would only walk to Choppies at night. I didn't have a car. I walk at night at around 7:45. I know they're closing at 8. I'll start walking. You be walking most of the thing, not along the road, to get whatever I needed, and I'll go back and lock myself in. One day I was walking, I met this guy. He's feeling good. I could tell this guy is feeling very good, and I wanted to feel like him. And guess what he said? He said, "But you can have these. It will make you feel good." And I looked at him. I'm like, and I looked at all of you. I'm like, I think this guy, this is my guy. Give. You know what I'm talking about. I took it and I locked myself in the house. I started sniffing it, and it was good. But it's not good. But I was feeling good for a moment. Everyone that I thought I knew disappeared. My family, I gave them an impression that I'm okay. So they thought everything was just fine. But I was alone. I locked myself in there for 6 weeks. And you open my room like this. And each and every cloth that I had was smelling of that. I'm talking about 2021, 2 years ago. After you met me, way after you met me. I know, Patricia, after you met me. And I decided that, you know what? I was not seeing any bright future. And I decided, Palape is still a town. They know me. I want to go home. Home, I mean where my mother is. I left. I went home. When I got home, could go for 3-4 days without bathing. I was just fine with it. I'm talking about end of 2021 and beginning of 2022. That's last year, isn't it? I was home, and I'll wake up with everyone else. Rira di tsa ko gae ra go lema. Ditonki go dipudi di rile ditlo di thasetse kwa ke nna neng ke tsamaya le batho ga o tsa okay ga ke anwa shake but ne ba anwa shake mme ke ne taste ga yone. Now you know what I'm talking about. So I was just there ke ntse ko gae until one day I read a book authored by someone in this room. And in chapter 8, it talks about belief, and the author happens to be myself. And it talks about belief. Not until you start believing in yourself will your situation change. So I read that book as if it was not written by me. And then I happened to be going from Senete, that's my village, to Tutume, public transport, and I meet this young girl. She's coming back to the city. She's holding a small little baby. So I asked her, girl, where are you going? Oh, okay, Rabu. Can't they? No, it's a standard 5. I'm like, so I start looking at myself with my degrees and all those papers that we get from universities. And then I'm looking at this girl with her, she doesn't even have PSLE. And I'm like, and this girl is going back to town. And I'm here. I need to change. And before you can change, you can become a better version of yourself, you need to first of all accept the situation that you find yourself in. So I had to go through acceptance stage to say, this is me. This is what is going through. Moshe, o jelwe, o nna ko gae, moshimane wa ko gae, go hedile. Ya toropong we go simolola botshelo sesha. And that's what took me from my home village. And I came back to town. And a couple of things happened while I was here. First of all, I was walking around the city. I would come to your office, Boto, and you thought I was driving. I was walking. Right? I would walk and I'll make sure that no one knows. That's how I bought sneakers. I have a couple of them. If you know me, those of you who know me back in the days, you know I used to wear a suit. And I bought sneakers. I bought sneakers because make sure after you guys have gone to work at around 9 o'clock, it's us who are not working. Then I can start walking to your offices. And then I get there, I wipe, I go to the bathroom first to make sure that I look okay before I knock to your Yeah. And I decided I needed to change. I came here. When I got here, you think you have friends. I'll call you and call you to say, take me there. And you guys are busy. You're very busy. But guess what? A couple of months later, it didn't take long for my life to change. Because I'm happy to say some people who are seated here, you guys don't know how you transformed my life through the businesses that you're giving me. You don't know. And it didn't take long. I think it took 3 months for me to look back into my bank account. Actually, my bank, I don't, even now I don't have a personal account. But if we look at my business account, they had all closed. I had to go and apply a Patricia or and all that. And 2 months later, I checked my business account. I realized that, oh, so go na le digits tse dintsinyana tse ka re cell phone number mo on your bank account. So, all right, okay. So I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I'm back. Now, guess what happened? I had an invitation from one CEO from African Alliance. He said to me, let's have coffee. He heard my story from someone. I want to hear your story. It's called Sean Rasabota. I went for coffee at Rhapsodies. While we were seated there, guess what happened? I started seeing familiar faces. I'm talking about your faces. I started seeing, oh, so these guys are there. And from that day, you guys started calling me again. You see, you are calling me, but it's not a good thing. I don't want you to clap for this because it's not a good thing. You are not calling me because of who I am. You are calling me because now you are seeing me at a place that you go to. One friend who's supposed to be a celebrity in the country, this week I met him, and then I was driving my car. I opened my window. It was so he realized it was me. He said, "Wow, that's a nice car. We need to have coffee." I'm like, you see what you're going through. So trust these friends that we keep. Some of them are not taking us to where we want to be. You need to look back into your friends list and start interrogating each and every one of them. I was talking to my team and I was saying to them, I'm going to be deleting numbers this week. And then they said to me, you don't have to delete their contacts. I'm saying, no, I don't want them to follow me. Even on WhatsApp, I don't want them because one of the speakers spoke about value. What value is your friend giving you? And at times you look around, you realize that certain people, they're just but it's the gigabytes, the megabytes, and they're not supposed to be in our friends list. I'm one person who should just say I have an event and the event is sold out. But I still find it's hard to find my friends seated here. I find you. These are my new friends, right? I have all your numbers. I could you're registering and I was taking your numbers. So be careful. Store mine for my status. So I'm starting up with on a new slate because you trust too much, and these people can come back and destroy you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Moshe Jackson Seloko, and I'm back.